welcome to part 2 on my AEW WWE discussion. So we talked about the narrative that was formed from observation from the Wrestling Observer, an opinion about WWE trying to put AEW out of business to make sure they don't get another TV deal. So a few of the details around the whole AEW versus WWE stuff. I reckon, so would WWE prefer AEW not to exist? I would say probably. And again, talking about, like I talked about in part 1, they're a business, they have shareholders and they need to make profits, and if there is a successful second wrestling organization, that hampers them. Now this is a different discussion to what's good for the wrestling industry. I've always thought competition is good. WWE stepped up its game when WCW started winning the Monday Night Wars many years ago. And again, even AEW getting CM Punk, getting some other wrestlers, getting a bit of traction, beating NXT, all of that made WWE step up its game. It meant they're more competitive. Obviously, from a pure wrestler welfare point of view, is it good for a really good, strong alternative? However, I think this whole WWE's bad narrative is based on quite naive thinking around they're not there to make money. And also then you get the little barbs that AEW have had, Jericho saying Dynamite was going to beat Raw when now it can't even beat NXT, Tony Khan saying, you know, there's only room for one Khan, the competition, the digs that they've had, and maybe, you know, that's it, that's competition and it's good. But at the same time, are WWE some big evil corporate company? No, I don't think so. Are they some big corporate company who are super successful at the moment? Yes. And does that affect AEW? Yes. Has it caused a downturn in AEW? Yes. And there was some interesting comments on my last video, and one that I want to pull out was around AEW appealing to its niche audience. And I've said this for years, I think they have that niche audience. They did broaden it a little bit when they got CM Punk and maybe some others, but they've gone back to that. And yes, you know, people who watch it will say that the product is better for it. However, it is a niche audience, and you're only going to go so far in terms of viewers, in terms of ticket sales, as has been shown, with that niche audience. And that might be good for hardcore wrestling fans. But then when you talk about competition, WWE's programming on Netflix is in the weekly top 10 every single week. So yes, AEW is competition for WWE, but as Nick Khan said, it's not the only competition. And I think that's what he meant. He didn't mean AEW weren't competition, but they're competing with the other TV shows on Netflix, hence why they're in the weekly top 10. Anyway, more of my view on this one. I'm fascinated to see what people have got to say about this, and there'll be more in part 3 soon.